Hello and welcome. How are y'all doing tonight? The cat, Dee, Frog, Tomcat's World, Daniel. It's good to see all of y'all. How are y'all doing? So I kind of detached from a lot. I haven't been watching any YouTube. Maybe just for a second, say hello till last night. 420, good to see you. Bong on. Last night I was at the Indies. Anaconda, good to see you. But I think I found my peace again. Hallelujah. I'm going to share a link with y'all that it's up to you. It's a movie. If you want to watch it, you can. If not, it's not a homework. It's not a requirement. It's just a really good movie. Hey, Stands Alone, good to see you. It's kind of a, I don't know, what do they call them? B-rated, B movie, whatever. But it had a lot of messages in it, a lot about forgiveness, and you don't even realize that it's about forgiveness. The messages, it's like they just come to you. It's not explained. It's really good. So, last night at Indies, there were a lot of questions. Oh, cool, Tomcat. That's good. um, so I know it's not rated R, Frog, sorry. I know y'all have heard about the movement. That's another link I'll give you. Get that one. Yep. The website is called Take Our Borders Back. Take Our Border Back. Texas is stepping up. So a lot of people are like, so what does this mean? What's going to happen? All eyes are on us, and I don't know. I'm right in the middle. So they're going to be about 40 minutes away from me, and I plan to be there. And I'm hoping to be filming and awesome, Stands Alone. Your son's heading to the border. That's good to hear. So I think that the way it's being done, there was some concerns last night. Super Dub, Al, good to see y'all. Yes, Super Dub, that's true. It's a 700-mile border. I understand other states are sending their National Guard. I'm kind of not understanding the National Guard. If it's called National Guard, I would think it's federal. I remember when they were called to DC, all 50 states in the garage. Do y'all remember that? Hey, meat puppets. So I think that the federal has control over them. I don't know if there's a state guard that's separate from the National Guard. Hey, Bruce, good to see you. Just for optics. And I've questioned that too. So I'm looking at the positive sides of this because I'm trying to keep out all negative thoughts. And Tomcats, there's something to that. There's been a lot of people having issues with moods. Well, where was I? Oh yeah, keeping the negative out. And so, yes, I have heard Civil War brought up. And so I asked last night, who would fight who? Because I'm just not seeing states going against states. I don't know who would fight who. So that comment is probably pretty close to the truth, Super Deb. Yes. Patrick Kelly, good to see you. And so I don't see Rich Runner, good to see you. I believe that, okay, this group is calling themselves the God's Army. All through the Bible, we see where people were in battles and hey, Rock City. Oh, awesome. You're in Alamo. Cool deal. Oh, it's Super Dave. I'm calling you Super Deb, and it's David in. Oh, you gotta come in all all in hiding. Hey, Debbie, good to see you. Where was I? I keep talking to y'all and losing my place. Tomcats, I think we can all be jerks when we want to be. Anyway, God's Army. So yes, all through the Bible, there's stories of battles and wars and takeovers, and I believe that God said to, and so I'm praying that these people are actually following what God desires, and the power of Jesus is amazing. I don't know, but I do plan to be at the one that will be 40 minutes for me. It's and then they will go from there to El Paso, and they're actually going north of El Paso. I do have a clip to share with y'all. as much as I don't like Tucker Carlson's voice, does anybody else feel that way? There's just something about him that I'm not real sure of, but so anyway, I'll just let this clip explain all of that. Yep, I do remember that, Debbie. And it was Alamo, Texas. So the Alamo is in San Antonio. And then there's a town called Alamo, Texas. And it's right at the border. Frog. Okay. Okay, let me share this with y'all. I'm gonna mute and be right back. It's not very long.
The Supreme Court of the United States ruled that the Biden administration is legally allowed to open the border by force to cut down razor wire along the Rio Grande sector of the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas. The usual suspects voted for this: Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, Ketanji Brown Jackson, but they were joined by so-called conservative justices John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett. So in response to this ruling, which shocked many, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, drafted a letter, not simply to the administration, but to the world. And here's part of what it says. Under President Biden's lawless border policies, more than 6 million illegal immigrants have crossed our southern border in just 3 years. That is more than the population of 33 different states in this country. This illegal refusal to protect the states has inflicted unprecedented harm on the people all across the United States. Abbott goes on to say the state of Texas has the authority under the Constitution to, quote, protect itself. That authority is the supreme law of the land, and it supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. And then, following very quickly, 25 other states with Republican governors signed a letter pledging their support to Texas and its constitutional right to defend itself and this country. Those states include Ohio, Florida, Utah, Nevada, and many others. And then the Biden administration responded. The administration threatened these states, particularly Texas, with a, quote, 24-hour deadline to allow Border Patrol to reopen the border and to take down the barbed wire. Clearly a collision course. What happens next? We're thankful to be joined now by Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, who joins us by phone from India. Governor Abbott, thank you so much for joining us. If the administration declares that it plans to federalize the National Guard of the state of Texas, your National Guard, what will be your response?
Well, first, I'll be shocked. That would be a boneheaded move on his part, a total disaster. But for one, as you might imagine, we are prepared in the event that that unlikely event does occur to make sure that we will be able to continue exactly what we've been doing over the past month, and that is building these barriers, whether it be the concertina wire or other anti-crime border barriers, whatever we've been building. The Biden administration is now trying to attack us because of it, and we will continue to do exactly what we're doing to expand our denial of illegal entry into the state of Texas.
With state employees, I assume, not with National Guard, but can you envision a scenario in which you would put armed state employees on the border instead of the National Guard of Texas?
We do have other armed state employees on the border as we speak right this minute, and that's the Texas Department of Public Safety, as well as other law enforcement officers, as well as National Guard from other states. And you can be assured there will be more National Guard from other states and more law enforcement officers within the state of Texas and other states. And Tucker, I just signed a new law in the state of Texas that will go into effect on March the 5th that authorizes any law enforcement officer in the state of Texas to be able to arrest anybody coming across the border illegally.
Have you spoken to the president or anyone from the Biden White House about what appears to be an imminent collision?
I have not, to be clear. I have spoken to the president about the border. I met him on a tarmac in El Paso and talked to him directly about what was going on. I handed him a letter that had in it immediate solutions he could take that would immediately secure the border without the need of any new law to be passed. Despite the fact that I handed him on altogether 8 different letters, he has refused to ever respond. My point in telling you that, we have laid down the precursor of what's called Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution to show that we have been invaded and we have demanded support from the president to safeguard our state, and they have refused to do so 8 times, and that authorized me to declare an invasion under Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution to make sure that Texas is going to be able to use every tool in our arsenal to defend our state.
Of the couple of dozen Republican-led states who've pledged support for you, how many do you think would send National Guard to Texas?
I'll be shocked and disappointed if almost all of them do not send. There have been about 10 so far that have sent National Guard or other law enforcement. They now are joined together with us, and this is a fight for the future of America, and they all know it. And so I believe that they will all be in on December.
It's just a remarkable moment. And I know you're heading out, but my final question is, how do you see this resolving? What happens next?
Well, Texas is going to continue to expand the border barriers that we are erecting, the razor wire that we're putting up, and to continue to gain control of more land over the coming months. I believe, however, that this will all come to an end on January the 20th of next year, because I believe a new president will be sworn in, a president who will actually enforce the immigration laws of the entire country, not just the Texas border, but New Mexico and Arizona and California and the Canadian border also. And we will have safe and secure borders once again, because we will have a president who actually will enforce the laws of the United States of America.
But in the next year, are you concerned about any kind of conflict between state forces, whether state employees or National Guard, and federal forces?
So, Tucker, all we can do is be as prepared as possible, deploy as many people as possible, do as much as possible to put up more border barriers and deny illegal entry. And our head is down. We're working hard, regardless of what the Biden administration is doing.
Governor Greg Abbott of Texas joining us now from India. Thank you very much, Governor. The state of Texas appears to be on a kind of collision course with the Biden administration, with the federal government over the southern border. Can it be protected, or must the invasion continue? The Supreme Court has weighed in on this to some limited extent, but it hasn't solved the problem or answered the question. So what happens now? Things are moving very quickly, and it seemed like there was no one better to tell us what the future may hold than the Attorney General of the state in question, Ken Paxton, who joins us now. Mr. Attorney General, thank you so much for coming on. So that's the question. Where does this go? It seems like there are two large forces speeding toward each other, no one's swerving. What happens, do you think?
I don't think anybody knows exactly what happened, because we're in uncharted territory where we have a federal government that is largely not just ignored federal law, not just ignored their constitutional role to protect the state and the country. They're actually participating with the cartels and bringing people here as fast as they possibly can. I just don't think we've ever seen anything like this in our country, where we have a federal government not just not doing their job, but affirmatively working with bad people to do bad things to the country. I don't remember anything like this.
So can I just ask you stop there, since you're a law enforcement, you're the chief law enforcement officer of your state. Can you assess whether what the Biden administration is doing now is, strictly speaking, criminal? Are they breaking the law in how they're handling the border?
I think they are. I mean, they're taking federal law and dismantling it. He has a constitutional duty to implement what has been put in place by the elected representatives.
Yes.
And he's just not doing that. And he's making up his own rules as we go that allow cartels to gain a foothold, a really strong foothold in the United States, not just in my state, but really across they're building a network across the country so that they can keep doing this well after Biden's gone.
So just to like the next few days or weeks or months or who knows, the Biden administration has effectively threatened your state and said you've got 24 hours to do something. What are they demanding that you do, and where does this go short term, do you think?
You know, I'm not exactly sure what we're supposed to do. I mean, is it we're supposed to let them help them cut down wire and fences? We weren't ordered to do that by anybody that I know of, and so we have no obligation to help them violate federal law. I'm not going to do it, and I don't think Abbott's going to give in. I certainly don't plan on giving in. So they're pushing us to help them, and we're not going to help them violate federal law. We're going to try to defend our border the best we can with the resources we have. And, you know, my job is to do it in court. Abbott has other resources at his disposal, and I hope he uses every single one of them to stop this.
There's not one power center in this country, the media, the government at all levels and both parties, big business. There's not one power center in the United States that would like to see secure borders. And so, of course, we haven't had secure borders, and now we're being invaded, and no one's really doing anything about it. So it's just a matter of time before citizens who love their country, in many cases who have served their country overseas, decided to get a little more active in protecting their country. And that's why we're about to see the Take Our Border Back convoy. It begins on January 29th. Truckers, bikers, anyone who wants to come and protect the United States and demand that our government secure a southern border is welcome. They'll be driving to Texas, and one of the people who will help them navigate that state is Doc Pete Chambers. Chambers is, true to his title, a physician. He's a former Green Beret. He was recently down in Eagle Pass, Texas, and here's part of what he saw.
Doc Chambers from Eagle Pass, Texas. Today's the 18th of December. We're out here at the point of entry. 5,000 are sitting on the ground right now. It's increasing as we go along. Information that we've received says another 7,000 should be processed through this particular point by morning. Joe and I have been here many times. Last time we were down here, we were in uniform, and now I'm a civilian and in the army of God. So we'll keep telling truths, and you need to get this video to your legislators and tell them in the state of Texas particularly, this is out of control.
So not surprisingly, Doc Pete Chambers has been attacked by dying legacy media outlets as a deeply scary person, because your country being invaded is not scary. It's all totally normal. We thought it would be worth talking to Doc Pete Chambers about what he expects to happen with this convoy and his role in it. He joins us now. Dr. Chambers, thank you so much for coming on.
It's great to be here, Tucker.
So what can we expect with this convoy? Can you describe what it is and what its purpose is?
Right. This is a peaceful assembly. This is what we do as Americans. This is how we shed light to a subject. This shedding of light will result in exposing really what an open border policy looks like.
Yes.
We know that we know the problem sets in Texas, but literally I promise you this, that 40 miles north of that border, there will be people that will never have heard of the border problem because they just watch mainstream media.
Yes.
And so this is what that is about.
And so can you tell us the route of the convoy and who you expect to join it?
Right. So right now they're going to be leaving out of on the 29th, Virginia Beach, which is where the 1607 Covenant, the landing, which signified the John Smith landing in 1607, where they planted a cross on the beach and said, hey, this is a covenant to this nation, to God. And then they're going to leave from there, and they're going to go down through Florida. They're going to cut across Highway 10 through Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Houston, into Dripping Springs, Texas, where I'll be working out of, and then on to near Eagle Pass. Now, I'm part of the advisory of this, and as I advised, I used to be in that same unit that's down there. That's the unit that has a streamer on it from the Alamo. It's a very historic Texas unit. And so they are down there holding the line. And I know those soldiers. I worked with them. I took care of them as a doctor with Operation Lone Star. They're busy. So the convoy is going to go just a little bit just a little bit to the north, really, in an area about 30 miles away in Quemado, Texas, to a children's camp. A beautiful lady down there who has taken care of orphans and widows. You can't write this stuff in a book. I couldn't make this up. But she was overrun, first of all, by the COVID mandates that said you got to shut down. You can't keep running this shelter, number one. Number two, she was overrun by the numbers of volumes of illegals that were coming through her neighborhood, trying to get into her food pantry. And then number three, the cartels are a significant presence in that area because that is the end point of where they do the end around. So we are looking at the bright, shiny object that is Eagle Pass. That's a bright, shiny object. Look here. The droids that you're not looking for, if you will, are just to the north, right in that location. And so what this is going to do is it's going to bring light to it because we have to understand there is a constitution, both state and federal, and that we have to, number one, expose those that argue things in the Hegelian dialectics, if you will, of tort law, and look at the Constitution, which is exactly what this is a focus on. The Constitution, we the people. That's why we the people will be riding along, mama bears, cops, veterans, truckers, and going to that location to bring light. There is nothing nefarious about this. There is, matter of fact, I am suggesting to them that they and they know this, that this is a peaceful demonstration. This is how this will be.
So, I'm hoping to meet up with him. He seems to be the leader of all this, and we'll see what happens. Aaron, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Tomcat, thank you so much for sending your people over here. I want to thank Rescue and for showing me these videos, for posting them and letting me share. But I did find Tucker Carlson on YouTube. So he has two, Tucker Carlson Network and just Tucker Carlson. And he seems to be the one that's really showing he did an interview with every single person. That's what I like, that he got it all in that one video. The cat. And yes, it's interesting that Abbott is in India when all this is going down. And so it's kind of like, is he running? Or did it just happen to turn out that way? I mean, he knew he was in a hot seat before he left. I don't know what his business is in India. I should have looked that up. So we'll see what happens. Turning Guns, good to see you. Val, good to see you too. Well, Frog, and someone said that, but this is going to be outdoors for one. Not going to be trapped in a building. There's not going to be anywhere for people to be on top of buildings. I'm praying that it doesn't go down in a bad way. I will be fully protected. I'm sure everyone there will be. It's, I'm hoping that there will be live streamers in the convoy because I want to see them see the change when they come into Texas. It's just a different place here. It's not it's just different. Most of the people that I know here, hey Indy, good to see you. have been here for generations. I had an ancestor that fought in the Alamo. So almost 200 years of family in Texas. And I've been here all my life. All of my family's been here all their lives. Some have ventured off, and that's normal. My brother decided to be a Californian, of all things. But that was his choice. He's done well, and now he retired, and we'll see where he ends up next. And my father, he's a civil engineer, so he was in Japan for 15 years and then Turkey for 15 years. And I think he was 75 when he had to retire. He had stage 4 lung cancer, and by the grace of God, he got through it, and now he's in Florida, and he's jumping rope and doing all kinds of exercises and walking, and he amazes me, and he is so smurf, it isn't even funny. Blue as blue can be, and the things he's been saying to me lately have been absolutely amazing. I talked to my friend of 40 years that has been blue as blue can be, and she was saying all the things we've been saying for the past 4 years, and so this everyone's saying that everyone needs to wake up. I think it's already done. If she was saying that, I'm telling you, she had to have been the last one, because it was a miracle. Really surprised me. Candace, good to see you. So yes, I see positive things happening. John Dunning, good to see you. Well, no, he can't run. Do y'all know how he ended up in a wheelchair? He was actually, right after he got out of law school, he was jogging, and a tree branch fell on top of him and paralyzed him. I believe from the waist down. And so that's how he ended up in a wheelchair. And so that's whenever he's doing a speech with our local news, and I go to it, and there's a few in there that they'll have pictures of someone pushing him in a wheelchair off a cliff or something. And it just irritates me so bad that people can be that evil, that heartless, that, he can't help it that he's in a wheelchair. Let's see what else. I'm going to drop the link if anyone would like to come up and have a conversation. It's not something I normally do because I've had some problems with that, but here we go. Oh, he'll be back, Benjamin. I'm sure he's not in India for good. He's just, I don't know what his business is there, but I know he'll be back. Texas to south of Hawaii. How cool. There you go. Yeah, Wolverines. You're shy. I don't believe that. So that's what's going on here is they're trying to impeach Paxton again. They weren't happy with the first time. And it kind of surprises me. The senator that is pushing for this impeachment, he's a pretty good guy. He's down to earth. For being a senator of Texas, he gets $600 a month. So it's not like he's been doing it to get rich. And that's what he said. He's leaving the Senate. He's not running again because he needs to get out and get a job and support his family. And he's feels like he's served his time and time to move on. But oh, okay, Wolverines. So I don't know how that's going to end up with Paxton. I really like Paxton. He's really fought for the legal side of our country, of our state. Sorry about that. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Can't predict the future. I'm not going to try. What did Indy say? I'm missing y'all's comments because if I start reading your comments, then I get all lost. Indy. Fair's fair. Oh, there's Ronan. Hi, Ronan.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. So what's the scoop?
Good to hear.
You're holding the line down there in Texas while Abbott's all frolicking in India. What's he doing over there? Negotiating spices and tea?
I don't know. I'm going to have to research it and see why he's in India. I knew I had heard he went to India about a week ago or so. So, I don't know. I need to see what it is. M1 drawbridge. I used to cross the only one left in Texas, and they got rid of it about maybe 10 years ago. Yeah. So what do you think about all this? The convoy?
I don't think all that much about it, but
Okay.
not like in a negative way. I don't spend too much time on there. I did see a comment something about J6, and I know like that was mentioned. I find that subject interesting because I do see differences. I see some similarities. I see differences also. I mean, I would say like maybe like key differences. Um, for example, like Texas, kind of what you had mentioned earlier about Abbott talking about a constitution and some kind of law of the land, where DC is technically a different land. If the leadership of Texas is calling these shots and making giving the orders, it's a little bit different, I would say. Still a lot of
Yes.
fishy stuff. Still a lot of fishy things going on, but
Well, I do know that whenever they get to Dripping Springs, then they will go to the capital of Texas in Austin, and then they'll go back to Dripping Springs and then over to Eagle Pass. And so they'll be coming right by me. I think there's 3 different routes. One of the routes is going through New Mexico, and then down to Eagle Pass. And so someone had said that Abbott's wife was Chinese, and she's actually Hispanic. Just so y'all know. First Hispanic First Lady of Texas, I guess. But I don't see how that could happen. But then at the same time, like I said on Indies last night, it's how much are you willing to do to fight for your country? This doesn't just affect Texas. Y'all have seen it. It is affecting every state in the United States. And we've got the DOJ, we've got the DOD, we've got all of them now saying that they're concerned about the, what do you call them? Terroristic people that could already be in the United States, which we know they are. It's been going on for 4 years. Of course, they're already here. The countries that have been allowed in are countries that hate us. And it's just, I don't see where, what can we do? They need to be deported is what they need to happen. But have they kept track of where each one of them are? I doubt it. They said a long time ago that they lost 85,000 children. Well, how do you do that? I don't think that they're keeping track of anybody. I don't think they even care. I think that this has all been planned from the get-go, and that's how you take over a country. And so it's come down to, what do we do about it? Do we just, sit back and let it happen? No. I mean, some people may feel that way, but I'm not going to jump out in the street and start shooting at people, but I'm not going to allow it to affect me and my family and my community. And that's what I have right around me. Hey,
Yeah,
Chuck.
and I'm not. Yeah, I agree with it. I mean, we have they say we have the First Amendment that gives us the right to do that stuff. I don't see with any problem with like the convoys and the showing of, a mass showing, a peaceful mass showing. We have that right, I think we learn some things, right? Like when we see that Ray Epps type character instigating violence and giving orders and directions, we know to not pay attention to that. I think it's important to document those characters when we see them, but we don't fall into their trap that way, right? I think
Right.
Peacefully is important, and that is a way to send a message. Is a powerful way of doing that.
Yes. And
So I don't disagree with that. But,
sorry.
hey, Chuck.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
Not a whole lot. What's going on, Tom, Ronan, Bonnie? Yeah, I just got a call. I was talking to Meat Puppet on the phone. Saw on Facebook he had some issue with his truck. He told me you guys were on.
I'm terrible with going live. I'm terrible. What's up, panel? What's up, chat? How's everybody doing? I'm terrible at this because I'm trying to read everybody's cadences and jump in, get in where I fit in. But I kind of steal the show sometimes, so I'm trying to shut up and let everyone else talk. So what's up, guys?
Hey, Lauren.
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Y'all are awesome, man.
So it's interesting that they're calling themselves the God's Army. And so that's why I feel like
That's a red flag to me. Like, you don't go claiming that. It's like one thing for other people to call you that, like based off of your actions and stuff. It's another to like label yourself that. That sounds like a
Well, it depends on whose God their army is.
very true.
Because they say God's army, but they didn't say Jesus. They didn't say Jehovah. They didn't say nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I haven't heard him speak yet, except for on the Tucker video, and they're not gonna go into that.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, because then you're gonna cause all kinds of controversy. You know how that goes.
Oh, yeah. 100.
So I don't know. What'd he say? He was a Marine, or no? He was FBI, wasn't he? The one that's leading it.
I have no idea.
Not a clue.
Not sure. I haven't looked into it.
I thought I heard him say he was ex-FBI or retired FBI, something.
I don't think they're really going to do anything. They're just drawing attention. I don't think they're going to go down there and stop anything or nothing. They're just doing a little tour kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking it is.
Could be another distraction, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've thought
Plenty of
about
that going around.
Yes. But at the moment, I'm kind of like, well, what's it distracting from? We still have several months before the election. Is it an election point? I don't think so.
See, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. But you know what? Every day seems like a distraction nowadays. So could be a distraction from another distraction. We don't know.
It's all distractions. And so it's, oh, okay. He was an Army vet. Thank you, John Dunning.
I'm trying to hold back my energy because I like to steal the show a lot and I'm trying to be respectful. I've been in an ornery mood all day.
Do that.
So I'm trying to be as respectful as I can. I just want to say what's up and hang out for a minute. You know what's up.
And I appreciate that, Tomcat. Yes, I have
Absolute.
seen you get wound up.
Oh, yeah. When I get fired up, I get full bore. I'm absolute like vodka when I get swinging. But I'm chilling today, so it's cool.
Good deal.
That's what I
You
tell
make a
people.
good point, though. Oh, sorry, Chuck.
I was going to say, just when I get into it, I go full retard. So.
Well, I'm already a retard, so going full retard is like everyday breathing and living for me, so that's cool. And I'm cool with that. See, I don't want to distract from what you guys are talking about. I just want to come up and say what's up. I see all the great people here, and I'll add and interject every once in a while, but I'm trying to be cool and learn everybody's cadences and not talk over anybody. Because the last panel I was on, man, I went on for an hour, and Tomcat ain't good for an hour. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. So I kind of overspoke and overshadowed people, and I was like, man, I got to learn how to stop doing that. I'm good in small doses, not like a big-time dose on a panel.
Feeling tree. Stephanie Kerr, I am so glad to see you in chat. I have been worried about you, praying for you. I hope you're doing better, hon. Please contact me and let me know. I've been wanting to reach out to you, but if you aren't feeling good, I didn't want to bother you. And so text me, email me, whatever you feel like doing. Sorry. I've just been, last I heard, she was back in the hospital, and poor thing has just been through it. And I just saw a comment. Hilarious too. Good to see you. And your comment is the one I'm looking for. Roughneck Reckoneck, good to see you. I'm missing a lot of people. Sorry about that. Ephesians, put on God's spiritual armor and stand. Amen. Absolutely.
I might drop out in a second just because I just wanted to come up and say what's up. And I told you, Bonnie, that I was going to come up on panel one of these days. And I've been actually pretty good today, and I want to keep it that way. I want to leave a good impression. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to come up and say what's up to y'all. I love you guys. I love the panel. I love chat. You guys are all amazing. Stay strong. Stay safe. Stay who you are.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing over your little army of people.
I got more coming. There's always more. My army grows every day. This ain't a channel for me. It's my way of life.
There you go, Bonnie. Can you see that?
Let me enlarge you.
All right, I love you guys. Tomcat, oh!
Take
Love
care.
you, bro.
See ya, Tomcat. It's good to talk with you.
Yep.
It's a good point about distraction. You say, like distraction from what? And a lot of times it's just a distraction from living our lives. It's just to add a little bit more stress and chaos to the day to day, which is already stressful and chaos in its own nature. But they like to mess with us. That's why they call them psyops, right? Psychological warfare. They're messing with our heads, and that's distraction is a weapon used in that. A distraction, I suppose, is a weapon in that arsenal. Is what I'm trying to say.
Tomcat is in Florida. So, yep, it's pretty green. And I can't read that.
It's a Ronald Reagan coin.
Okay.
It says Ronald Reagan, 40th American president. I found it earlier. I'm going to look for a better one. And see if I can make an icon on it. Just give people something to say something about.
That's cool.
Let's see if I can find it better.
Huh. I didn't know they made it. Well, I guess they do it for every president. Haven't seen a Biden coin yet. I don't know. So, one of the points in that video was that Biden had made a threat to Texas that he was going to send down F-14s or something, and
declare war on us.
Yeah, declare war on us. Thank you. Yeah, it is messed up. So RT News yesterday, it was yesterday evening, it said U.S. Border Patrol has no plans, in parentheses, to remove razor wire installed by Texas. Federal agents are not seeking to escalate the standoff with the state's authorities, a government official told the media. And so federal agents are not planning to dismantle the razor wire installed by Texas on a portion of the U.S.-Mexico perimeter. In my community tab, I put a link to, I know I'm going to get it wrong, I think it's JDL that is doing live coverage from down there. He's a pretty big channel, and he was, when I was watching it earlier, he was right there at the park where they have it closed off, and there's 2 National Guard at the gate letting people in or out, and of course they don't just let anybody in. There's a stray dog running around and they feed it, so the dog goes in. But no one is out in the open trying to take the park back over or anything like that. I don't think that they will. That's just one point of entry. We know that there are a lot of points of entry. Got Del Rio, you've got McAllen, all along the border. El Paso, they can get in anywhere. Actually, between like around the Big Bend area, I heard that there's tunnels that they can just go straight into New Mexico from there. So, you know, it would take a whole lot. So I don't know if that's the purpose of all the other National Guards coming down here. I don't know how it's going to go, really.
Yeah, is it okay, Bonnie, if I say something real quick?
Yes.
I want to apologize to you guys about last night. I wasn't trying to be an ass when I left over at Indy's. I just left because there were so many people trying to talk over each other all at once. And every time I'd start there, I know it's the lag and all that. So I just left. I wasn't pissed off or nothing. I just didn't want to add no more to the chaos.
God bless you, Stephanie. Good night. And Chuck, I didn't feel that you were rude when you left.
I just making sure. I want to tell. I see Indy out there, and just want
Yes.
to make sure of that.
And I know sometimes it's hard. Some you can't hear, or I don't know. Sometimes it's hard being on a panel with a bunch of people. 2 or 3, it's a little easier, but even sometimes we'll do the same thing. We'll talk over each other, or I'll get a thought in my head and blurt it out real quick, because y'all know how quick I forget everything.
Same thing.
Hey, Matt, good to see you.
Hey, Matt, Drew, Lauren.
I know, it's good seeing all the
Indy, Eric,
peeps here.
Stephanie, John, Devils, Larry. If I missed you, hey.
So earlier when I was saying that I had lost my peace, it was kind of like I was questioning my purpose on YouTube, because I don't do it for money. I don't do it for views. I don't do it for subs. I mean, it's great to see more people and to be able to talk to more people. Love that. And that's what it is. It's for me, it's the socializing and just being able to discuss things and see what everybody else thinks about things that are going on. Because we all have different views, different perspectives, different areas, different how we handle things. And that my goal has just been to not react, is to like stay calm. Don't get all caught up in the negativity. Try to stay as positive as we can, to show videos and have discussions about how to deprogram the programming that they've done, and how to just get our minds strong enough and built back up enough spiritually, mentally, physically, everything, to where we can handle whatever they decide to throw at us next. I'm kind of not really concerned. Keeping an eye on where they're going with this disease X, that one, I think they might, because everyone was so, okay, like when COVID came out, it's like, okay, stop, evaluate, see what's going on. And so as soon as the people were put in the nursing homes and were just dying right and left, where was the outrage then? Well, why wasn't everybody all up in an uproar when that was happening? And then it just kept getting worse. And so now it's kind of like everyone's do not comply, do not follow anything that they say. So what if they try to throw one on us that's actually real, that could actually do more harm? Not necessarily real, but that could do more harm. And that's my only thing about that one, is what it. Happy says, I have concerns that the convoy activities will end up being a setup like with the one in Canada. I sure hope those folks keep their heads on a swivel for plants and infiltrators. Absolutely, Pappy. I think that's one of the things too, is J6 showed us what they're capable of. Summer of Love showed us what they're capable of. All of these things have shown us what can happen. So I think people are more prepared for those things to happen, if that makes sense. What do y'all think?
I'm not real sure. I don't want to say anything. I know Vicky's paying more attention to a lot of that than I am. She's gotten bad as I was. I'm the one that's, I don't pay attention to that.
You've stepped back away from it all?
Sort of. Everybody was telling me I'm too aggressive, too much into it and all that. Even you wanted to back out. Remember, you wanted to stick to your campfire, talk the good book, and make it friendly and comfortable for everybody. And I tried it, and then the people got to doing stupid, and I'm just like, okay.
Yes, and I know. And well, and that's, in the beginning, it was easier to do that because there wasn't so much going on around us, each one of us.
Constantly stupid going on.
Yeah. And
in your household or to do with the government and everything else.
Right. And so since then, it's been issues with family, issues with just, right around us, up close and personal, that we've had to deal with. And so, yeah, it gets hard to go live every night like we used to. Or I can remember it was every night, because I remember saying, okay, I kind of need a night or two off. And I think I took Saturday and Monday off or something like that, just to unwind a little and not have to worry about saying something stupid or, those things I do.
Man, I got up about 9:20 again, and the next day I woke up and they had me down to 890, took 30 away from me. I'm slowly dropping. I guess that's the reason I ain't on. So.
Yeah. Whereas too,
3 steps forward, 4 steps back.
I'm sorry, Chuck.
No, I'm just saying 3 steps forward and 4 steps back.
Yeah. Canada, America, and Mexico, one region. Yes. So Biden went down there, was it last year, and signed. He's trying to get it all called North America, Mexico, America, and Canada.
It already is called North America. That's the name of the continent we're standing on.
Right. But he was trying to get a treaty signed, and I think Mexico is the one that backed out of that.
Yeah,
Trump
Hey, Chris.
Trump had a treaty signed between Mexico, the United States, and Canada. Remember that? He got rid of NAFTA. He already did it for him, I guess. So.
Yeah, they said they're going to make a potato coin too, and for every 10 of them, you get a penny.
Yeah, I can't see anyone buying them.
Yeah, I guess that would make it special. 1/10 of a penny or 100th of a penny.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
So I still think.
Hold on. You got a mic on.
Okay. So I still think, even with all this going on, it's stick to the plan that we have. And that's just taking care of what's around us, our families, our communities, what we've got right here. And if there's some way that you have an influence on a broader scope, by all means use it. I do plan on sending another email to Greg Abbott. But that's what I do. That's kind of how I get it out, is if something's really bothering me in my state, I'll send an email up there, and of course they don't respond. I don't expect a response. Maybe one day I'll get one, but it's just letting them know that people do care about their state. You're not just up there doing what you want to do. You do have people that are doing the checks and balances down here, whether you believe it or not. And so it's federally, I don't think we have much say of anything. I think that they just do what they want to do and don't listen to anything we say. The people, and then that's when you hit your representatives from each state also. We got, well, Chip Roy's my rep, Ted Cruz, Senate. There's quite a few of them that are from Texas up there. Yes.
So do you see positive resolution coming out of this, or like what potential positive resolution do you see coming out of this? And I'm not being facetious, I'm being serious, because it potentially could be a good thing, right? Like if the states start taking their rights back, that's one step closer to all of us getting our rights back and not being straight up slaves like that. I think there could, like, and I'm an optimist. I get it, whatever. A dreamer. I don't like saying that. That sounds pretty gay, but I'm an optimist. I get that. Like, however, this could be a potential thing. So, like, what good could come of this? What do you think? I think if the states, I guess I see they're both muted, so I'm talking to myself.
Love you too.
Never mind. But
I'm
if
sorry.
the states, that's okay. But if the states start taking, their rights back and defending their sovereignty, that could be a good thing for everybody. Isn't that kind of like the state's national gig? Isn't that what they're all talking about?
Yes. And so that's what I've been seeing in these chats. If I just click onto any channel right now, I'm seeing the chat just backing Texas. They're like, Texas needs to succeed. And that's where I have an issue. If it is, I don't think we need to succeed because I think we'll just be taken over for sure then. Well, I don't know. I don't know how that would look.
Well, in that clip you played, Abbott didn't say anything about it. He straight up said that he's standing on the highest law of the land. Like that's
Yes.
like what do they call those guys? Those sovereign folks. That's their porn speak right there. You know what I mean? Like that's their talk.
Constitutional.
Like if they're, yeah, like that's. So he, from his message, it wasn't that. Whatever, he's just not playing into the corporation. Now he's pivoting, right? He's standing on the highest law of the land and acting on it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And that's what the articles, I'm gonna look those up. I've got my little constitution right here next to me, but I have to do it when I have my lights on. It's a little pocket one and it's real small print and it's really hard to read, but I did write down the like Article 4 Section 4 I don't know, and then 1 and 10, and I'm gonna see what it says about all that.
Hey, D wants the link. I know there is one up in chat somewhere, D, but I don't know how far up you gotta go.
It's way up there, I think.
See there, Bonnie, they got California staying on one side, Chicago, Stony on the other, and the rest of it all the way up Texas.
Well, see, and that's what, whenever they were talking about Civil War, I was like, who's going to be fighting? And they said blue against red. And I said, but have you seen a map lately of the United States? It's like there's 3 specks of blue and the rest is all red. So that would be ridiculous. It would be no fight. It's just,
yes, we have red versus blue.
And blue will just cry in front of us and eat Tide Pods.
Hey, Christy, thank you for coming in.
Hey, D.
It reminds me of an episode of Babylon 5 where there's a race that just battle. One is purple, one is green, and purple fights green. Every year, everybody in their society picks draws a color out of a hat, basically, and it's purple versus green. It's absolute nonsense, but it's comical. And that's kind of what I'm getting here with the red versus blue. We're looking at states, someone colored like the entirety of it. Hey, look, Ohio is on that list. But I can tell you that the majority of Ohio is with Texas, right? But we have a couple of cities, and like how every state does, they don't give a shit.
Even
right?
we do.
Exactly. So it's
we have a right from the federal government. We believe under the Constitution. We believe it's our right to protect our people, pure and simple, and to protect our country.
Here's a little video, Bonnie. It's 30-some seconds long. It's Dan Patrick telling people stuff. If you want to put it up.
Sure. Hey, Dee, good to see you.
Good to see you guys. I'm going to turn my camera off because I'm walking around and stuff, but what's up, everybody?
I'm going to share this real quick and then
okay,
we'll
cool.
talk it out.
We have a right when the federal government, we believe under the Constitution, we believe it's our right to protect our people. Pure and simple, and to protect our country. The federal government is not doing it. That was part of Article 4, Section 4. When the United States was founded by the states, we created the government. They had a deal to protect us against invasion. Now, Joe Biden wants to argue what invasion is. 8 million people who have come into this country illegally, murderers, molesters, terrorists, rapists, gang members, drug dealers, carjackers, kidnappers. That's invaded. And by the way, who is sending all of them here? Who's getting paid for it here? But armed cartels. That seems like an army to me.
Yep. Sorry, Bonnie, that might have been a little too militant. But
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted while talking. I don't know why they keep saying
say
8
it, 8. Yeah.
It's more like 80 million.
80 million, and I've heard up between 180 and 300. So
Yeah. And yes, I've heard that too. And so the population of the United States is 300 and something million. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
But it's, so he said it. It's Article 4, Section 4, right? And then it's Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution is what Greg Abbott is using, both of those constitutionally.
Were you on the call
341
Thursday?
million last year. Sorry.
Sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.
I was just saying 341 million at the beginning of, or end of last year, beginning of this year. So then you figure add another 80 to whatever.
Hey, Eric. Eric in the house. Good to see you, bitch. Well, did you know that, oh gosh, I forgot what I was going to say. Totally lost my train of thought. Gone. Completely. Completely, absolutely gone.
Did y'all see what they're doing in Chicago at the airport? They got like 5,000 people in the blacked out at the area that's like a big tent running through the middle of the airport, and they're hiding all these people at the airport. And starting Monday, they're not going to allow the American citizens, and if they're not those people, are not allowed in that wing of the airport.
Well, that shows you who their allegiance is to. That's what I come on here to say, because I heard Ronan say something about the sovereign citizens, and for 3 years I've been chasing where is the we the people, and I just learned something recently, and that's what I wanted to come up here and share something specific about. I don't trust any of these people, even Carrie Lake and whoever else is the new latest and greatest, Vivek, or whoever Trump is.
They're all full of shit. Christmas turkey.
If they have a dual citizenship, particularly to Israel, that is our first indicator. What my frustration is, there is obvious signs now. We've all been in this whole shit show for 3 years, 4 years, and the whole theory of the corporation of the U.S., all caps, is, that's what I have written down, is where it's acknowledged in our laws that is a real true thing. And we've seen so many, even unique, what's his name? Unique prepness. What's his name? He would run those streams on, he was running the streams on Ruby Ridge and what happened at Waco, and showing us, he was showing things constitutionally by law, how this U.S. corporation government is weaponized against us. And that's been the theme since COVID. Well,
It's been
forever.
At least since JFK.
since 1871 is what we're learned in the assembly, and there's only
Yeah.
two states that are actually assembled properly, and that's Michigan 2011 and Alaska in 2020. And it's recognized by 7 countries. Michigan is recognized by 7 countries. And I don't know what all that means. I'm not going to try to bullshit about it, but requisitions are how, what that word, I need to look that up better, but that is the interaction that the assembly had with Obama. And they do claim that they were able to keep Obama from putting boots on the ground in Syria, keeping him at back. And so a lot of the theories are this corporation's dead, it's bankrupt. And look at the medical community, look at the police community, look
Yeah.
around. It does look like that is, and as far as the border and the states goes, that's just showing who really, whose allegiance is to who. Is it to the corporation or is it to we the people? But the thing, I'm sorry I'm so long-winded, but the thing I did want to share about the assembly, I learned Kevin Kiley and James Gallagher, that whole assembly, just as bullshit and dirty as the Senate and the Congress. Though that is not the real assembly. The Anna von Reitz is not the real assembly. Where you, me, and Jen been hanging out, Bonnie, is the real assembly. I do believe it's a slow, painful process. Those 2 states being reassembled is better than no states being reassembled. And
Chrissy
I
Cat.
yield. And I yield. And we've got good friends. No, I'm sorry. I yielded, so I got to shut up. That's what that means. Dee, shut up.
Last night on Indies, I was like, may I?
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
it works.
It does work. Yeah, it's decorum. It's actually, important.
Yep. Um, so let me think of what you were just saying and get back to that. Um,
Yeah, the assembly, learning that Kevin Kiley right away when he got turned a senator, he right away voted to support protecting Shifty Shift,
yes.
protecting Adam Schiff. So, and then I just recently learned that yeah, that General Assembly, that's not our assembly that we're part of. That's not the we the people. Those are just more corporate elitists. That was the point. That was what I really wanted to just share because
I
it's
mean,
taken me 3.5 years to figure that out. It's a
yeah.
long time. It's a long process. And I almost gave my citizenship up with that stupid traitor Anna von Reitz. So people need to stay clear of that. And we got no guy is propping up a couple that is steering people in that direction. That's very dangerous to me. He should shut his mouth about it. He should get them off his website. She's a
Yes.
traitor.
Don't give
Banners
up
for freedom.
citizenship because then you
Huh?
don't have a country.
No, and then you could get deported when and if
Yes.
Trump does become back and he starts a big largest deportation. I've heard it rumored these people with the bar that have sworn their allegiance to the crown, bye-bye. Goodbye. You sovereign citizens that wanted to be expatriates, bye-bye. And why wouldn't you? You didn't want to be part of this country? I mean, I had kind of got to that point because it was kind of looking bad, but I'm glad that didn't happen to me. That'd really suck.
Yeah.
It'd have been horrible.
I don't know. I mean, that our government is not protecting our borders, north and south, is, I just never thought I would see the day that we would be where we are right now. It just kind of blows my mind. But at the same time, it's okay, then those states that are having the issues, I mean, everybody kept on for a couple of years now. I've been seeing, well, why isn't Texas doing something about it? Well, the Border Patrol down there that is front line, whoops, he disappeared. They are federal. So then Operation Lone Star is state. That's our state troopers that have been turned into Operation Lone Star. And then the National Guard, I guess, is the Texas Guard that has been sent down there.
And Texas also shipped them up into the middle of the country and 12 different sanctuaries
And
states and stuff.
that's going to be in my email, because he keeps sending me texts. Do you agree with the busing? Do you agree with asking me if I agree with all this stuff? Well, the text doesn't give you an option to say no. Or
It's like you got them on a bus. Why don't you give them a ride back home? Why are you putting them further into the country if you're
yes,
saying they're a problem?
spend that money, ship them back where they came from, not into the states. That, and I can kind of see where he was trying to make a point, but at the same time, if you're watching any of those streamers down on the border, and Oscar El Blue and Anthony Aguero, they're partners. Anthony is the one I've been watching lately. For some reason, I haven't seen Oscar. Maybe they unsubbed me from him or something, but I haven't seen Oscar. And so Anthony's down there on the border, and here's this whole line of men coming in, and he's asking them, where are you going? Where to? Where to? Where to? Each one of them has a white piece of paper, and it has a city on it. And the majority of the cities that they were going to was New York and Chicago and Los Angeles. And then every so often you would see one going to Atlanta, or they would just say Georgia. They would just say the state, or so they knew before they even got here where they were going. So then you're questioning, okay, so who has set all this up? Because it is all set up. They're not dressed like they have come from poverty. They're not acting like they have come from poverty. They're looking pretty healthy, some of them, like you mentioned the other night, Ronan. So it brings up a lot of questions, me and questions. It's just, we know.
Yeah, don't you think it actually provides a lot of answers for us, because they were able to do this so diluted before, and now it's just like in our face so much.
Yes.
And they can track it all down, and they're going to track them all down too, because they're going to stay with the gimme that's. They're going to stay with that card, and wherever their posh comforts are in the finest hotels. They've filled up plenty here in Humboldt County, and they've kicked out people in Humboldt County to put illegal aliens here. They've done that.
And that's what just blows me away. That's what you were saying, turning your back on Americans, the homeless, the children in schools, the airports, the any buildings that they can get, the luxury hotels that we can't stay in. But do these people appreciate it? No, they're going to complain about the food and complain about their accommodations. And I'm sorry, but people that I've been there, I have lived in my car. When you are down to that point, you are appreciative of anything you get.
Yeah. Well, Americans we did really have to see it, or we wouldn't even believe that these people have been doing us this dirty. I mean, it's not the way to unite a country. It's the way to divide a country, frustrate a country, anger a country, deplete a country of its resources, and bankrupt a country. That's what this is. And we all see it.
So, is that the whole purpose?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
To try and
Of course it is.
When
And
people let other people do the things they do to children and the elderly and the veterans, do you think they give a fucking shit about any of us?
no,
It's not that hard to be on a phone call and listen in to what's going on and to actually focus on people that are doing remedy, but it does seem to be hard. And then when people don't even take the time to look at where there is remedy, then they start attacking it and acting as if it isn't happening. That's where I get frustrated because I've stopped paying attention to these people in my county as much because it just put me into an abyss of depression. And I was fighting, I'm fighting evil and I'm fighting the New World Order policies. And the way to go around it is to be working in the private, is to be unincorporated and to deal with it in the assembly and with grand juries. That's how we peaceably do it. And they've talked that way about the truckers. They've mentioned the word assembly. Trump has thrown the word assembly out, but people have to beware. They have to be cautionary. There's a lot of different
yeah,
assemblies. That's the danger. So if they're going to,
and
and here's the one thing too. Oh, go ahead, Bonnie. I'll mention it later.
that's with everything. There's falsehoods in everything. There's good
Absolutely.
and evil in everything. Even here in
Yes.
YouTube, there's good and evil.
Mhm.
You're going to see infiltrators. You're going to see people trying to divide. You're going to see people trying to
Yeah.
divide all of us. We've seen it happen. And
But do you remember when Destry pointed out where there is a where there is a de jure assembly, there can be no de facto. That's 13 people to make an assembly.
yes,
13 people can round up together and then they can get 25 people for a jury. Like, think of the old Westerns where they do that shit. That 1 minute the cowboys were doing a shootout and get the sheriff in here and get the sheriff in there. Hang this son of a bitch, and the whole thing would happen. And then there'd be a trial. And, that's how we're supposed to be able to do that. But the people in my county, the way it is in my county is these criminals are running the town better than we could possibly do it if we assembled yesterday. We don't know the first thing about running the waters and the sewers, and these people they're running everything, and they're bringing in all these new world order policies which they don't even know where they're coming from. They're just getting paid, and the people have got to step up and create their own. They have to start telling them, stop fighting them, and just tell them what's up. They're still doing that here in Humboldt. They go there and they start asking, and please, and would you please? It's like, oh my gosh, please. We're done being passive, aren't we? F these people, they're traitors.
well,
Traitors.
so I looked up a scripture about anger. And this is Genesis 27:45. Until your brother's anger turns away from you and he forgets what you have done to him, then I will send it and bring you from there. Why should I be bereaved also of you both in one day? And so the reason I looked it up is because, we hear the stories of how Jesus was slow to anger, and but then we've seen what God's anger can do. And so when people say God has this, to a point, I can understand that. But then at the same time, we've allowed this.
Yes.
Even if unknowingly we allowed it. So that's what I said. He'd be kind of pissed off right now.
Well, rebuke the oppressor, right? Isaiah
Yeah.
1:17, rebuke the oppressor, defend the widow, plead for the fatherless,
Yes.
Our children are dying in Humboldt County. I'm sorry if you have a problem with my sense of urgency. You all know what you can do. I don't care. Our kids are dying here. I'm tired of being nicey nice. I'm not going to act like this is all going under the rug and we're going to forget. No, these people are going to hang. They're going to die. They're treasonous traitors. And I'm therefore, by the grace of God, there go I. Thank God I never got caught up in that kind of stuff. But still, they're not stopping yet. So how am I supposed to act? Am I supposed to turn the other cheek? Yeah, keep jabbing our children. Yeah, keep your perversion in our schools. Keep dancing with your spell casting and your satanic stuff around our children while we can't have the Bible and talk Jesus and even pray. No, I don't think so. I know I'm not wrong. I'm pissed off in a righteous way. Be angry and do not sin. We're doing the things we're supposed to do. We're peaceably assembling. We're learning our laws and our constitutions, and we're not taking any shit. No, that's what it is. We're a nation of laws, aren't we?
Yes. Dee, there's a message to you from Val McGinnis. Hello to the sweet lady from Humboldt. Thank you in the past of the prayers for my son who quit drinking and became a trucker.
Oh,
Got your first name.
I'm Dee, honey. Hi, Val. Good to see you. It's Dee.
How sweet is that?
That's awesome. We love answered prayers. Glory to God. All
Yes.
glory to God for that. All glory to God. Fantastic. Magnificioso. Oh, thank you, Chrissy Cat.
Watch this. This is messed up.
What's going on, guys? I know y'all come to my page because of the comedy, and I just play around on here. And I don't get political very often. Sometimes I have some.
Is my camera on?
I live in Texas. I was just in Eagle Pass, and I've got some videos I need to show you guys. Because you're watching the news, whether it's CNN or Fox, you're letting these news media idiots get you riled up against each other. Let me show you some videos that might just calm your ass down and make you turn off the TV.
Oh, good.
All right, so this is the wall, the fence that we put up. And they put up a secondary fence because they opened the gates. There's some armed guards with some pretty serious weaponry. Pretty intimidating, right? Here's your razor wire in between the two bridges that are in the entrances into Mexico and also the entrance to Eagle Pass. There's some Hummers, some more guys, right? We're protecting, we're keeping them out. This is 0.5 miles from that area. 0.5 miles from where they set up their cameras. 0.5 miles from where they have all the people there. And it's right down the road. I left this long to show you just how short of a drive it is for us to get to a point where all that we just saw does not matter. And they're just getting you riled up against each other because it's election time. And right about here is where you're going to see it.
Yeah.
Open gate. The next.
What's that? Where are the armed guards? Where are the AR-15s? Where's the razor wire? Where's the gates? That's half a mile from where the media is blowing up that Texas versus the feds, that we're having this big battle. So that was one gate. That was the very first gate that I saw. We drove down a little bit more. There's one. It had a chain on it.
It was
so you keep driving down the road. You got Trump's wall doing its job. This one has never even had a gate. So to me, doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, liberal, libertarian. It doesn't matter what you are. And you're posting about this Texas versus the feds and we could have a civil war. I'm telling you right now, if a civil war breaks out, it's not because there's something good to fight over. It's because it's election time. It is because the news media is corrupt and you need to turn the TV off. I don't care I don't care what news media you watch. Just go down there and look yourself. Go look. The things that they are saying that the feds and Texas are fighting about is a stretch that is not even a mile. How long is the border? They can just walk right over, and those gates keep going and going and going and going. I know you're thinking, well, just 2 gates. No, they're all open. Open all the gates. This whole hoopla over this little bitty section in Eagle Pass in between a bridge and a bridge. Only place that there's guards. So if you can't get in half a mile of our border, you just walk down the road and you go across the border there. All you folks posting about this, you've picked a side and you think you're doing the right thing. But all of you need to reevaluate the country you live in and the information that's being given to you. Because I wanted to be on the Republican, I wanted to push on the Republican side. Hell, I'm from Texas. I'm in the middle no matter what usually, but I wanted to lean towards that side. And once I got down there, I was like, nope, I don't know. Believe what you want to believe, but I recorded those videos. No one sent me that. I don't know what else to tell you guys, but turn the TV off.
Thank you.
Totally.
When I told you that when I was talking last night, that I was talking about that I'm in the middle and I choose my battles and my hills anymore because it's all screwed up.
And so that's what I've seen. The border wall is so many feet, miles, whatever, and then an opening, and then an opening, and then an opening, and it's all the way from Texas to California. So my question then is, why would Trump build it that way?
They had a bunch of crews split up all over the place, and they should have met in the middle or put the gates up, or at least put a gate over there. We'll make them have to dig to get under it or something.
Yes. Yep. I don't know. It just
They say when it gets close to the ocean over there too, right? That you can drive your car around it before it gets into where the water is.
yeah.
Ben, the politicians are doing something. I've seen a couple of things where these ladies are talking about ones in the neighborhood that they're mailing people money and items and stuff down there and getting tickets and all that to come up here. They're paying them to come up here, and she started alerting people up this way because of it. I need to find out. I think I saved that video on a lady talking about it that lived down in. Wasn't even in Mexico. She was in South America over there, right there on that by the canal. What's the name of that? Not the canal, but shit, my mind drew a blank.
South of Mexico?
Yeah, south of Mexico, right there where they're coming across.
The
Panama Canal.
Oh, okay. Dorian Gap or
Yeah, they're coming across through there.
whatever it's called. Yeah.
So they're robbing and killing and raping and stuff the whole way through there.
Likewise, it's good to see you back. Pritzker.
Showing that. That's why I haven't been putting anything up. I've been finding stuff, watching it, and putting it away. And otherwise, I'm like right now, I'm wound up. Let me go smoke a cigarette, and I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Poor Jet.
Puff, puff, pass.
And that's
totally calm.
all this time we've been hearing it's a movie. And all this time I keep saying it's like Hunger Games and The Walking Dead combined. Well, they've kind of quit with the zombies, so that takes out The Walking Dead. But the Hunger Games, so many things fit, even President Snow. I just, the way that they were divided up into, oh, what did they call it? Did you watch the Hunger Games, Dee? You probably didn't. Ronan?
Yeah, I've seen them.
So what were they called? Where they divided the people up into
Districts.
districts. Thank you. And here we have FEMA zones and how did they determine who would be in what zone? And I just,
I believe us rebels were part of District 12, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that
yeah,
right?
but what happened? What happened?
Look, before FEMA had regions, we had states. People always drop lines on the map and say, okay, this is ours over here, this is yours over there. And that's kind of where a lot of the
Yes.
problems come from, right?
And that's, I've
So we
even
gotta
heard they've got Texas divided into 4 or 5 different sections. And so I'm thinking, why would they do that? And okay, I guess I can kind of see, because the I-35 corridor, that's San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, all the way up. And then I-10 is New Mexico. Wait, 10 goes all the way to El Paso, doesn't it? So
So do you think FEMA is like doing this for nefarious reasons, or do you think they're doing it because it helps them distribute and allocate their resources when help is needed? For example, where would I put all my stuff? Like if I'm setting up a network to help the country, if it's in a time of need and I need warehouses, I would need to figure that out. Like, is that what they're doing, or are they just, this is where these are going to be the new borders, or like what are we
I don't know.
what are we looking at?
Because okay, see, like Texas, if there's any libs, okay, they'd be along the border, or they'd be on that I-35 corridor, and then 10 goes from wherever, El Paso to Houston. Well, it actually goes all the way to Georgia if you keep on going, but just in Texas. So I don't know. I drew a Texas map, and I was like drawing lines to see like how they would divide it up. Lubbock, Amarillo, up in there, I'm pretty sure that they're red. Even though Lubbock was a sanctuary for abortions, but still the surrounding area up in there, it's ranches just like here. And that's what somebody had asked me about the ranches, and I said, no, the ones I'm seeing are generational. They're still being run by their kids. Maybe 1 or 2. I mean, a few of them are always going to go somewhere else. It's a really small community, and if they don't get married or whatever, and they're going to go somewhere else, which kind of helps with the inbreeding. We don't want that either. So
what does this have to do with FEMA? What does this got to do with FEMA and FEMA camps and FEMA lines on a map?
that's
No
what I'm
disrespect,
trying to.
but I mean,
I I understand what you're saying.
I was
So I'm
like, what
trying
I
to figure
miss?
out why
What the hell did I miss there? Sorry.
why would they be dividing it off, even if they're going to be dividing off parts of Texas? What would be the purpose? And so
Well, I
is it
said, oh, sorry.
um
Go ahead.
is it because of like the district in the Hunger Games, or is it because of voting purposes? Like I think we're 6. I don't even
Well,
know.
it would be neither. It would be neither. At face value, just looking at the organization, FEMA is, so, okay, at face value, they say they're there to aid in times of emergency, right? They were at
Disaster.
hurricanes, right?
Yeah.
So they set up these zones based off of how they have to allocate those resources, that aid, right? They're not going to have hurricane stuff set up near places that don't have hurricanes, right? That wouldn't
Right.
make sense. So
They
they
lost,
have to
but
somehow allocate their own resources to be able to help in times of disaster across the United States, right? That's where they get their lines, and they want to be able to respond in a certain amount of time in case of disaster, these kinds of things, right? So I don't see what FEMA has to do with elections. Maybe I'm missing something, I don't know, or Hunger Games FEMA.
so what I've seen is okay, Lahaina. Look how FEMA handled that. Hurricane Katrina. Look how FEMA handled that. I'm seeing where they're not.
Oh, they suck at their job, yeah, but what does that have to do with elections and Hunger Games? All government resources, they all suck at their job. Government's never been good at anything. Can't count on them for help. We know this. That's
Do
part of the
they
problem.
all? But may
Go
I
ahead, sorry,
interrupt
D.
for a sec?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Ronan. Oh, no, go
yeah.
ahead if you want to finish
No,
up.
no,
Go ahead. Bitch
I'm
about the
good.
problem,
Floor's
honey. I'm
yours.
ready. I want to hear it.
Take it away,
I love a
sister.
good
Take it
rant.
away.
Okay. I was just going to say, Bonnie, just something that I've kind of realized and Ronan and Chuck, something I've just realized in the last few weeks, and I've seen it during the last couple of years, is the Caltrans around here, who's in charge of the roads and structures. And
From
we're having a lot of what's going on.
that's where my
What are you
brother
laughing
just
at?
heard from. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, anyways, we had a very weird situation here that just really made me kind of think about it even a little more. In that
Sorry.
this Monday or Tuesday, we had a standoff situation here, and Eureka police actually killed somebody. And it happened to be across the street from the DMV, which is also across the street from the Caltrans. The DMV's been moved for a couple years. The You can look it up. You can look up Department of Motor Vehicles in Eureka, the old building. It's been fenced off for years. They just had a standoff across the street. They killed the guy. Also in San Francisco and Sacramento this week on the same day, they had hostage standoff situations.
What the
And when
heck?
I look, huh?
I said,
What?
what the heck?
Yeah, well,
Oh no, we lost you.
killed here in Eureka. He was a former Marine. Is the only name. There was another one. His name came out a day or two later. Daniel Martinez, 43 years old, and they didn't mention that he was a Marine. And the videos that they put out with all these agencies that were at the house that day is very sketchy. There's a lot going on out here, and I think there was an aircraft carrier outside of Humboldt Bay yesterday morning. I took a picture of it. You can just kind of tell its flatness. I don't see a lot of ships from where I'm at. I could see a cruise ship maybe because it's so big. But this was like just so shaped like a carrier, And
Yeah.
it's just, it is hot, hot, hot here. It's hot, and there's a lot going on, and it's good guys and bad guys, you know, and our military is divided, and it's dangerous right now. If you look up this stuff, you'll see that what I'm saying is true. There were 3 standoffs within, you know, that's 5 hours south of me.
Well, and
And
that's what
they, yeah.
I say. Any government agency that's given the power to do whatever they please whenever they get to said emergency situation, whatever, then they have that's the overreach.
But
When
yeah.
they're taking people's arms away from them at Hurricane Katrina, I'm sorry, that was totally, absolutely unnecessary. There's looting going on when there's a hurricane. There's people breaking into homes, and that you can't sit there to protect yourself with whatever you need to protect yourself with. No, that's going
It's not your
over
land.
the line.
You pay taxes on it because it's not yours. You're just there. You have the right to be
Always a
there as long
Marine.
as they
That's
say.
right.
That's it.
No, oh, sorry, Ronan, you're very low. Your mic is very low. I'm sorry to talk over you.
Yeah, we couldn't hear any of that.
Um,
Oh, that's probably for the best. Is that better?
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I said Marine too, and Sean said former, but yeah, I get that. Once a Marine, always, because I didn't want to say he used to be a Marine. It's hard to know how to say that proper, but yeah, you can look that kind of stuff up, and you can see that in the San Francisco area. And then the cops killed 2 homeless people, they say, down in the Bay Area. But my point earlier was about Caltrans, and I got off on the spin because I just thought of that, and I wanted to tell you guys that information. I'm sorry, but Caltrans, I see, even if Trump allocated those funds for the Potato Head administration, who has a terrible security detail, by the way, and a couple other things that are just painfully obvious to watch. But the way they're fixing roads and giving us things, it just, I think that Biden fake administration has control of some of these departments that are going bankrupt, and they already were shady and crappy. But I don't think all, like Space Force, who's in charge of Space Force? Not Biden. Not Biden.
So, like, how do we use this to our advantage? Like, for me, I'm saying, okay, if they're rolling back rights, does this give me a better opportunity to try and travel, for example, without license and plates on my car? Are we, how, like, where do we get to use this to our advantage? Are we able to say, hey, you know what, as far as your property taxes go, I opt out. Income tax, I opt out. It's voluntary. I don't do none of that. I voluntarily opt out, or however that all works. How do we get to use any of this to our benefit? Because I kind of see that the corporation is folded. They lost their thing. You know, you got the sub corporations kind of grasping at straws, or whatever you call the states and the municipalities and all that stuff. It's like, so how does this, where do we get to use that? I mean, joining an assembly, I'm not signing up to be a servant. I don't need service. I understand those roles are actually there to serve man. I'm saying, how does that look? How does the man live on the land once again in this country? Is this our chance to do that?
Yeah. With God's natural law, Magna Carta.
Good to see you.
We all
But
need to learn from the Amish.
not be corporate, not be an LLC, be private, like Trump has told people. I can't help it. I know how to save more taxes with my private businesses. People are afraid to operate in the private. They're still asking permission from this government for every license and everything. And I get that.
Right.
Not everybody's going to be willing to, you know, not have a driver's license or whatever, but perhaps they could be
Well,
willing to hustle a business and get their free, you know, EIN, and just learn about what it is to operate on your First Amendment right to associate, right to assemble, right
Be
for
ready
for
to ask.
commerce.
Be ready to ask for forgiveness, not permission.
well, that's just the
Well,
thing. It's like you could be educated and knowledgeable in it, but it comes down to you getting pulled over on the side of the road, them pulling guns out at you, and if you don't comply, they'll kill you.
Right.
Really is what it comes down to. So
Or
they're the ones that need to read and get educated, not me. Like, I get it. I have no problem operating or living on the land, not causing loss, injury, and harm, traveling peacefully,
Yes.
all that. But they don't. They're the ones that got the problem with it.
Yep. I'm still
there's
paying my property taxes. I'm not going to have my house put on the
yeah, I have a
block.
corporation as well, guys. I mean, we're you know, our main bread and butter is an LLC, but I'm trying to learn about what is the way out, and I'm not doing it perfectly at all. I'm nowhere near that. Nowhere near it. I'm kind of figuring it out still. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know what the F I'm doing. I'm trying to learn. I
I
think
think
it's
it's
been
like,
broke, so it's time to do something different, isn't it? Go on, that's first.
yes, but
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a majority for that to happen. And so what you were saying a while ago, that was per county. Those numbers that you were giving is 25 in a county and then 15 for a grand jury.
13.
Is it 13?
13. Yeah, it's 13.
It's
It's 13.
two alternatives. Okay.
That's just the
And
assembly,
then,
but
so once
yeah.
once that happens, then do the police start listening to you all of a sudden? Or
No,
what
No,
happens then?
you take control of your government. It's an have you ever done a budget? It's like when you don't have a budget and you just let your money get spent. It's like being
It's not
proactive.
like that because you have a group of people running what they call the government and have control using force, guns, literally straight up thugs with guns that will hunt you down. And what you're speaking of is taking over that
Okay, you're
by
talking about the
creating a
license.
secondary.
You're
I'm
talking
talking about
about
all
the
of it.
driver's license specifically. Well, we'd have to talk about one thing, Ronan. We'd have to talk about one thing to really
Okay,
have a
you choose.
conversation.
Then choose
Let's
because you're
take the
talking about
license.
getting an assembly. Okay, license. Okay.
I didn't say about getting an assembly. I said be careful of all the assemblies. My message to everybody is always we have to vet better and we have to follow the money. Because people wave a flag and they have a cross behind them and everyone goes, "Oh yeah, they're Christian and they're patriot." And that's been my message for how long, Bonnie? We need to vet better. You know, I don't
Okay.
trust this Congress. I don't trust this assembly that the media props up and the Biden administration. They're all fakers. They're all fake as shit. And where you have a de jure government, you cannot have a de facto government. We're absent. So therefore, they are assembled better. Touche to them and kudos to them. They've got it going on because we don't. You see, that's what it is. And we
so
really can take charge. We can.
so would that eliminate the Supreme Court in DC? Because I
Well,
thought,
what is that? So that's what I'm trying to get at. What I agree with everything Dee said, and it seems like the remedy she's saying for that is setting up a new assembly, a different government,
yes,
and operating under it, right?
yes. And so
Okay,
that's
well, when you do that, that's called tyranny. That's sedition. You're taking over the government in a sense. The one that's currently in charge that has the Supreme Court, the military, the police, the everything with the guns and the tanks and the F-16s, as Joe Biden said, they'll take care of you, right? They'll arrest you. That's what the FBI does. So I don't understand how that is somehow an acceptable option when it does not seem beneficial. It seems like smarter people than us would have figured it out and done it by now. I guess no one has. It doesn't seem like that. What I'm saying is all those positions, all the assemblies and the number of people, all those are positions of servitude. You're signing up, they're signing up to be servants, right? Of something. Currently they're acting as the masters because that's what we've allowed. We've allowed the servants to act as our masters. We've given them that authority in a sense, right? So
Right.
that's
true.
what needs to change is the standing, the order of how things are run. So I'm not signing up to be an assembly. I'm not doing paperwork. I'm done with all the paperwork. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
trap, is the
Right.
paperwork. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So what has to
that's
happen is
fair.
the understanding that even the current government understands that they operate, they are in servitude to men. However, everyone on the land that's operating with a driver's license, because that's what we're sticking on, right, is giving them consent to be governed by those people. So if you have a driver's license or ever had a driver's license, right, you have given them that consent to govern over you, right,
Yeah,
at that
that's
point.
you've given contract. Everything is contract, right? You verbally agreed that yes, I want to be under your jurisdiction, even though this is only for commercial drivers, and I'm actually traveling because we're talking in babble here. We're not talking in free, lawful language. We're talking in their bullshit statutes, ordinances, mandates, and whatever other bullshit they want to throw our way. Okay, and we believe it. We hook, line, and sinker. Hawaii is not a state. That wasn't ever properly There's no treaty. There's no
Well, I
treaty. They
know
did that through the
where
news.
I get that, but like let's stick to one thing so that way we're not right. We're sticking with the driving thing and the traveling thing
Well, the
because I
news,
know like
the
you.
media, honey, the point is because the media says so, we believe that more. That's the point. It's all part of it. It's all part of it. But yeah, we can go back to the license if you want, but it's the same. Why do people do it? They're afraid. Have you ever watched
The
somebody talk to
media.
a police officer and actually educate them and there be a
I
very
have,
good
yeah,
interaction? That's the
I
goal.
have,
That's the goal.
yeah.
Okay. It's not to be a punk ass little bitch where I'm like, oh, I can't wait till I get pulled over so I can fight with the cops. That's not me.
Look, yeah,
That's
no,
not me at all. But some
I
people accuse
never
me of that.
advocate for
No, no,
that.
no. Some people think because of COVID and all the fighting I stood up for that was me and that I want to do that all the time because it almost takes that right now. But I have a license. I have a registration on my plate. I have a
Well,
LLC.
and that's
I'm not there when you ask me what do I think needs to happen. I'm telling you what I think needs to happen and I'm not even there yet, dude. This is sincere though. I do believe this with all my heart. I do believe that we're very far from God's natural laws. The
And
Magna
so if
Carta.
you said
Mhm.
this started in 1871, and we know that there were great minds back then, why didn't they, what, why was it allowed to happen then?
Because the states walked out in 1861 over the states' rights issues. They left it vacated. That's what we learn when we're on those calls. We learn that proper history. The grand jury is the fifth form of government. The assemblies are as well. They're not teaching us this. Humboldt County hasn't had a proper grand jury since the 50s. They have what's called civil grand juries. It's all trickery. You know trickery, Ronan. You know trickery. It's trickery, man. It's
I'm not a
deception.
trickster.
No,
Good to
but
see
you
you.
know how they do us with trickery. I'm saying. I'm not accusing you of
And I
trickery at
agree with
all.
that. And however, I will testify to the mercy of the Lord in my life anyway, because this was a while back, I got pulled over. My driver's license was suspended. I didn't know what the hell was going on. The cop was like freaking out, right? And I was just cool. It's in my nature. I've always just kind of laughed them off anyway. I know the truth, my heart, I suppose. And I
So,
told him, look, I'm just traveling to see my brother. All right, he's over here. I live up here. I'm just traveling down here to see him. What's the problem? And he switched. Something in him switched. I didn't know what. I was just I was probably 23-ish, somewhere in there, my early 20s, I'll say. I didn't know like any of this speak, right? But
Right,
I was just I was trying to communicate with this cop, like who's shitting
right.
his pants. He's like, you don't want me to take you downtown to this prison that's full of really bad guys. You
Yeah,
don't want to go
yeah.
there, do you? I'm like, no, man,
Oh
who
my
wants to
God,
go to prison?
no.
I want to go to my brother's. I'm traveling. I
No.
told you,
Right,
I
right.
don't want to go there. So
But
when I
you
told him I'm
speaking,
traveling this with
yes,
my brothers, I
yes,
saw something changed in him.
right,
And
right, yes.
you know what happened? He like gave me everything back, and like he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna get in my car. I'm gonna leave. And then after you see me leave, then
Uh-huh.
whatever you do is on you. If you go down the road and some other cop pulls you over, that's between you and them. I said, okay, that's fine. Thank you. Have a
Uh-huh.
good day or night, because it was in the middle of the night. He was looking for drunk drivers, I think, is why I pulled me over, really.
It's
But
very
not, you
powerful.
know.
That's very
But yeah,
powerful testimony because
I
it
didn't know any of this
proves.
speak.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that story because I feel like God also just reminded you of that at some point that, that was, you saw that switch. You saw that in him when you spoke the proper language. You really did. And that's so
Yeah.
cool.
And
And
the
that's what
proper
I
language
just,
is
yeah,
truth.
yeah,
I didn't learn something special or fancy. It wasn't an
right.
education beyond just the simple truth. I went
Mhm.
down, you know what I mean? I didn't learn up and speak a
Right,
higher language. I stepped down and spoke as simple, like childish as possible.
right.
I travel to brother. Okay,
Hmm.
I travel, like simple, break
Right,
it
I
down
get it.
for him. It's easy, bro. I'm not looking for trouble, you
So
know?
let's take that and say in that situation, let's say we all still have our licenses and our registration, but when a cop pulls us over, we don't let them bully us around because after COVID, there was very few people that would honor the language of the true law during COVID. And it made me realize the Constitution doesn't give you any rights. It secures them. It protects what God gives you, and you have to stand up for yourself against bullies all the freaking time. That's what our laws are for. People aren't just going to obey them because it's written. People are unlawfully arrested all the time, and then they study and they research, well, what is the real law, and could that cop really do that to me? And that's what a lot of these streamers are that I watch and follow, that if some of them are sovereign citizens, some of them are what the Moors or whatever, there are all these different things. And, it's just, we're self-governing. And so the goal is to just really know what is the true law. So when a cop does pull me over, I don't want to let them bully me. And I'm also going to give them a really good opportunity to not let me sue them because
I
I know
heard
my
it.
shit, and that's what it is.
When you
I
said
heard
people,
it in a really good way, and it's that these are the things we have. We have a driver's license. We are not our driver's license. For example, I deliver packages. I like doing that. It's actually, and technically I'm a delivery man, right? Like that's kind of textbook stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
So in that capacity, I have the documentation to perform that in my capacity as such, right? But when I'm traveling to see my brother, I'm not driving. I don't need that driver's license. I'm not operating as such. I'm a man traveling now. It's that simple,
Right, that's
right?
true.
It's something I have. It's not something I am, right?
Right. Yeah, you're asking me? Yeah. I mean, that is your
how you
God-given right to, but the laws are for commercial drivers. That is what they are for. And I didn't say to go let all the drunk drivers out. People always want to go so extreme, right? When you're just trying to make a point. These people are bullies and extortionists. Okay? They steal money from us. At least we should know the process. That's how I feel. And then as we learn it better, we stop engaging as much as possible. And we stop letting these people
Mama
screw us
T.
over, right? That's what we do.
I Yeah, I will say this. Like for example, I'm learning more about carpentry, and like with all the things you learn an aspect of it, and you take some time and you practice that aspect of it. And I see a lot of us right now trying to digest all of this information all at once, and then at some point have an epiphany to be able to apply it all and be constructive. I don't agree with that. I think just kind of like with carpentry, I'm learning some aspects of it. I practice on it until I get good at it, and then I can build off of that, right? So with this, it's kind of, it starts in that way. the Constitution and all these documents, they're for them. It's for the employees. It's how they're supposed to operate. So if I get pulled over, for example, by a police officer and he's asking me, do you have ID? Do you have a driver's license? Well, regardless of what I may or may not have, according to the Fourth Amendment of your Constitution, of the document you're supposed to uphold, the highest law of the land, I have the right to remain secure in my person, place, and things and documents. You ain't got a right to any of that without a search warrant or some bigger guns or something, you know?
Well, the
So it's
weaponry
like,
is scary. I'll give
Gives
you
me a
that.
minute.
I'll give you that the weaponry is scary. It's not, you know, it's it's not a
but
little
that's what
thing.
they escalate it to, I suppose. So, I mean, so I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And that's where I've had conversations, like, even like I said, out of, in a sense, the truth is, it's the mercy of the Lord in my life. What I just shared with that cop, like, I didn't know to speak, but it came out, you know, I never practiced it. I was just trying to talk to the guy. So, and in that moment, you see that change. Well, it's like now, heaven forbid, and I'm not looking, I don't go out seeking war or conflict or any of this throughout life. It just presents itself, and it's a test, and it's how you act. It's how you choose. It's not necessarily right or wrong. It's how you do it, right? So in those moments, I do want to have those conversations with an officer where it's, well, you know, do you respect any of these rights? Do you agree with them? If I'm a man traveling and that's how I explain myself to you in this time, where does it go from there? And that's kind of, I guess, the aspects of maybe something we could try to do. At the end of the
It
day, if
depends what you know of the law. That's where it goes. Why should it be a surprise to us? That's what's astonished me, is why did I wait till I was 52 years old to want to learn what my real rights and what the laws are? I know I had them, and I know it looked more like China here in my county. And I'm not going to turn the other cheek on people that are oppressing me and treating me like a slave, because I'm not meant to live like that. You know, the
I grew
money
up in
isn't
the
the
hills
point.
of Wisconsin, where I was explained to me like why some of the guys had to have hunting license because they were employees, and some didn't because they were men on the land. They were farmers, landowners. These folks traveled without license. I remember one of the old timers getting pulled over by a cop. The cop tried writing him a ticket for a seatbelt. He laughed at him, crumpled up the ticket, threw it out the window, said, "You could write me a ticket for littering now too." And they just went their separate ways. And this is in my lifetime. I like, it was the hills. All right, it was rural as rural gets. But like, I conceptualized these laws of nature because that's where we lived at peace. There wasn't, you know, neighbors didn't steal from neighbors. There wasn't trouble like that. It was often you'd find a helping hand without even having to ask, kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, the
But
Midwest. Wisconsin, Scotty.
it was a different world. I mean, yeah, kids rode to school. There'd be the gun rack in the truck. They'd have their 22 and a 410 or something back there for squirrels or whatever on their way home, or you
They
know,
did here too when I came here to Humboldt County, because it was in 1990, and you know, the good old boys that went to high school, they had the rack in the back of their trucks in the window.
deer
It
hunting
was a
season is
hunting.
a national holiday. You didn't need a note from the teacher to not be in school. You just weren't there. They knew, you know.
Yeah.
And nobody got
Chuck
shot.
gone? I can't see the chat or anything. I see Chuck left. Good
Mama
night,
T
Chuck.
is in chat,
Hi, Mama T. Hi, everyone in chat. I'm sorry I can't read chat or see much. I'm on my phone. It's kind of lame.
and Chuck left because he couldn't get a word in. He said,
Oh, sorry.
put all these 40-year-olds in homes. Done. What,
Busting my
Pebbles?
balls. I don't know. Pebbles is hard on for me. Hey, don't be throwing stones if you're living in a glass house. You got to come up
Somebody
and present
said
yourself.
What you doing, Tom? Good to
Ronan
see
would
you,
make a
honey.
good sidecar cop machine gun.
Hey, Indy. I know I'm seeing chat. Yeah. Take a breath. Well, we were in a heated debate, and that is how it is sometimes. It's hard to I know I think I heard him try to interject once, but sometimes there's a lag and that does happen. So it's
And
too
I
bad
thank
that's
y'all for being respectable to each other. I'm all for debates, but I have seen them get out of hand. And
I
Oh,
think we
I
have more
genuinely want to
agreements. Yeah.
understand people. Ronan, we've had
yeah,
good talks before. Him and I are good. I got a lot of tension and passion and frustration and sense of urgency. And it's yeah, rock steady D, you get in a heated debate. Wait, what? I
right.
mean, makes for a good show, doesn't it? Ronan, we can always. I like to debate, and I may sound angrier than I actually am. I'm not actually angry or annoyed. Sometimes when you have to be interruptive or whatever, the tone can be. And people that don't like confrontation in general also don't like debate that can be thick. It doesn't bother me. I mean, our family's motto is, well, that escalated quickly. So we got a lot of cousins, a lot of excitable aunts and uncles. There's a lot of yelling in my family.
The
It
past,
doesn't stress me out. So I'm sorry to those of you that are not used to that kind of energy. Some
Forget it.
people like
Stop
it.
apologizing. They need to toughen up. It's a cold, hard world out there, D.
Some
You
people
know, they
like
need
it.
to
Some
toughen
people
up.
don't.
Yeah, they need to toughen up. Shoot, we're
yeah,
friends. Like D and
Indeed.
I get along and understand each other a lot more than we debate. Like that's kind of a,
Yes, we do
you know what
actually.
I
I
mean?
think. Yeah. Hmm.
I broken patriot. Yeah,
Yeah. It's more East Coast than Chicago, isn't it? I always said the farther east you go, the ruder they get. Like New York, the most brutal. Like they will level the floor with you with a look. It's like, woo, wee.
we got to
Oh,
look
man.
here. All my kids have inherited it too. My
Master
brother,
debater. Debater. That's a good name. Debater. I don't really want to be a baiter. However,
That's funny. She
oh,
calling you a
that's
master
kind of like
debater.
that, Lauren Price. Dang. Broke off and is west of
hey,
Hawaii.
Annie, Jack.
What's up, Annie AJ? The Chicago. Yeah, we just talk that way. My family could have that little heated, Chuck was trying to get a word in because we were having a thick throes of trying to get to a point, and sometimes it's hard to be interrupted in that moment because you're so close to getting to the point and you're already invested in all this emotion of it's you're not angry, but it kind of you want to get it fixed. And
Yeah.
And
but yeah.
that's the thing is, um, okay, so I've seen this where two people are very passionate in their beliefs and they could be clashing beliefs. But at the end of the day, I have seen someone pretty special to me. We get into it, but at the end of the day, it's didn't. I'm sitting there listening, and we're both coming to the same conclusion. In the end, is
Yeah.
that wait a minute, this isn't fixing anything really. What I'm seeing is okay, like y'all were just talking. You don't know the speech. It takes this many people for a state to do this. Those countries may acknowledge Michigan, but does the United States?
Why do
Um,
they acknowledge Biden? How can they acknowledge Biden and not Michigan and Alaska being assembled? That's what's
well,
blowing my mind.
and
You know.
that's just the way it is. And so
Mhm.
what I'm
But
seeing,
I don't. I'm not there, right?
I, but what
Are
I'm
you?
seeing, D, is
Okay.
these solutions are going to take a long time. And as they've said, we don't have time to waste. The time is here. We have all of this going on, and Um, I just don't see the big solutions coming out of that anytime soon. So it's
Soon is
where
relative.
are we now, and how do we get past this, and how do we be better on the other side? That is what's going on right now.
Well, I would say we have to toughen up because it's tough men that make good times. If you want good times, that's what makes it, right? Good times make weak men. You guys know the thing.
Wrestle.
I grew up in a big family. You had to fight for your seat at the table. You know what I mean? And I
Yes.
know when to pick it. I know when dinner's good. I know to get there early and get a good seat, kind of a thing. When the conversation's good, it's kind of like that same situation.
Yes. And I've seen that too. We've had a big table full of people and everybody's talking, and it's like, you know, my daughter calls it overstimulating. Okay, I need to break. I got to go to another room and have some peace and quiet, and she'll just kind of disappear for a little bit. Each one of them I've noticed kind of do that. We'll go outside and smoke a cigarette and walk on the other side of the house or something, and it can get because I have 6 kids and 8 grandkids, and when they all get here, it can get pretty loud, and so that's life.
Stop picking on me, Pebbles. Stop picking on me. I'm gonna tell on you.
There you go, Andy. Convoy's a minute.
I'm gonna lick your silverware and not tell you till after dinner.
Sometimes your next move is best determined by how what is happening now plays out. I think patience is the key right now. I agree, Tom. Thank you. And I think people are losing their patience. I think that is why there's so many like mini conflicts in the community. Even is people are on edge. Everyone knows all this BS has happened. Okay, don't see a fix, except for I can see the fix is sticking to what you believe in your heart, what you feel God led to do in your home, and living life the best way that you know how, and being prepared in whatever way to not depend on your government for anything for you to survive. And right now, that's where I see us, is just trying to get through the best way we can. And that's the way I see it happening, is just doing what I can do right here with family, with everything, and still living life. We still get out to events. We still go to stores. We still have those freedoms to do that. But I don't know if y'all noticed, like, even some of my supplements that I have to have, it's getting really hard to find them. And even online, I go to the source, they're out. And so then I try other avenues. Yes, even Amazon and Walmart. anywhere to try and get the supplements. I'm kicking myself for not getting a whole bunch of it while I could. But I never would have thought that they would run out. I've seen articles where they're running out of medications, they're running out of antidepressants, they're running out of things that you just can't quit instantly, or it can cause you health problems. And so I think anybody who's on anything like that needs to find some way to supplement it with something different. And isn't that what
Like
prepping
weed.
is?
You answering like weed. You can grow it yourself.
Well,
You
we
don't
can't
need,
do it here.
Well, I mean, if you lived under God's law, that's an interesting point because I was reading in Galatians yesterday, and that's exactly what Paul's talking about. He says, all of you people here that subject yourself to the law, Christ's salvation is lost on you. You're missing the whole point. He sets you free, but yet you still subjugate yourself to that same law, right? If you're
Right.
living under God's law, God said you put the seed in the ground, it grows, it bears fruit. If it bears, it bears seed and beyond, it's good, take it, eat, whatever, right? If God didn't want it to grow, it wouldn't, right? So it's like these are the ways that we subjugate ourselves to these laws. And what it says in Galatians, Paul says, I am dead to the law. It has nothing to do with me. I'm dead to that. I'm a new creation in Christ. And that's where I'm operating, right? So when I'm compelled to do these things, I ask myself, does it cause harm to myself or my neighbor? Am I causing any loss, injury, or harm? No. And I feel so compelled by the Holy Spirit to do that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So if the government themselves are telling you that the drugs that they've been shoving down your throats for years and generations are running out, and you got this other thing over here, you could just plant the seed in the ground. God makes it grow. No gardener can grow as a garden. That's a misconception. God makes everything grow. We tend to it. We pull the weeds, we water it, we fertilize it, we do our best, but ultimately God makes it grow. He raises the sun every morning, etc., brings the rain. He sets the tone for the earth and makes all those things grow, right? So
Right.
why would I allow a system that's falling apart, that's failing, that's failed, straight up failed, bankrupt, however else you want to put it, tell me what's good for me anymore?
Uh-oh. There might be.
Oh, I scared D away too. Jeez, I'm sorry, but I'm just over here running my mouth,
You're
chasing all your
fine.
friends away. Pebbles was right. That's it.
Back.
Oh, thank goodness.
Whoops, sorry. That was my bad.
All right.
So, Brew, we have alligators in Texas, actually. And what else did I see? Natural medicine in our own backyards. Yes, we do. So, Ronan, what's the solution? You were
The
asked.
solution is to live, because ultimately their goal is to make us not live. They want us to suffer. So we live and have joy. Grow
Yes.
pot. I don't give a shit. You're not doing me anything. It's fun. It's different. Grow tomatoes. Grow whatever. Have chickens. Get a couple pigs if you want. I don't care. You're not hurting anybody. Be respectful. Be a good steward of the land. Don't, squander the gifts the good Lord gives us. Care to live.
Yep.
Sounds like a good speech.
And that's
Run in 2024.
just keep living life. And geez, I don't know about y'all, but I have enough going on right here, trying to deal with, that it's really hard to concentrate on what's going on out there beyond what I can touch or deal personally with, stop whatever I need to do. But I do still send the emails. That's one thing I can do. I can use my voice. I can teach the kids. I can teach the grandkids. Just and try to be an example that they will remember always. That slow to anger, always treat them with love. Make sure that they have food every time they come to visit. Just life.
Well, yeah, charity begins at home. If a lot of people are in survival mode, even if they're alone, or they are taking care of their families. And Gen X is a lot of times the generation taking care of their kids and their parents.
Yep.
You know, that's a lot of us. So, and that, you know, so, but there is, I think that prayer is underestimated. It says in the word in Leviticus 26:3, I think is where it is. 5 of you shall take 500. Our God, the God of the Bible that we claim to be believers of, is not about the numbers and time. And people get very impatient. But we, you know, we're supposed to worry about today, but we're also supposed to keep oil in our lamps. So whatever that means for everybody, however much more you can be prepared if the power goes out or whatever. Most people I know are paycheck to paycheck and can't put anything extra on the shelf right now.
Yes.
And so, you know, I talk with my friend a lot about, you know, how people can be saving money, and some people aren't even interested. The generation in their 20s, a lot of them, I heard 80% of millennials don't even cook. They do takeout and DoorDash. I'll bet they're learning how to cook now. I bet they can't afford that. I mean, that is such a, it's not a good use of money if you're broke, but to not even know how to cook, that's sad to me. I've always known how to cook. I've never been able to afford to eat out till
Yeah.
we're way older, in our late 40s,
And
right
that's
before
what I was
COVID.
saying. A little
Yeah.
hard to save money if you don't have it. So,
Mhm.
and that's one thing that I'm looking into right now is hydroponics, because it can be in the house for one, and so I know where it's going, and it's not that expensive to do it, and it's
Yeah.
easier for me to do
Did you
than
see? Yeah. Sorry.
garden.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Did you see that video? Were you on Facebook at all today? I've posted a video about electroculture, and
No.
it was an interview. You might want to watch that one. It was an interview with these two guys, and the one guy was really just learning about it, and they were talking about, in some cases, some of the yields are 6 times larger, and they're finding that they're getting things even in the dead of winter, January and February, with a simple 6-inch in the ground coil wrapped around, say, a broomstick or something around your plants. You know, you can look on YouTube up, you can look up electroculture, and there's a lot of it
That's
out there. But mhm,
Electric culture.
electroculture,
yeah. I
yeah.
tried that. I think it's
Did
a load
you?
of crap. Yep.
Well,
Bullshit in my opinion.
you did it wrong, Ronan.
Of
Ronan,
course, that's what everybody's gonna say. It's hi, look, I don't believe anything
did
I
it
see on
wrong.
the internet anymore,
Okay,
and
you did it
some things I'm willing to try. All right, like I got copper wire and sticks and
I
stuff.
have
I
to
saw
prove you
exactly what they did.
I
You
Yeah, we're
know.
gonna have to prove you wrong. Who's willing to go?
All
Hey
right,
Pebbles.
please
Hey
do,
Pebbles, are
Pebbles.
you
Yeah,
in it?
get your copper
Pebbles, let's
wire and
go.
sticks
Come
out.
on, we got something to do here with Ronan. Let's go.
The only thing that happened is lightning started striking closer to my house. I thought, forget about it. I'm not doing that ever again.
What'd you do? What did you do exactly? I'm curious. What'd you do?
You wrap copper wire around sticks and you shove it in the ground, and it's supposed to, and you do a couple of them. You could
oh,
do a
that's
big time
Okay,
whatever, and
but
it's
you wrap.
allegedly it pulls
Uh-huh.
in
Yeah.
the electricity or whatever, and it goes to the roots, and it
Uh-huh.
does some hocus pocus bullshit. It's a lie. I'm better off giving them chicken manure than wasting my copper wire on that
You
crap.
don't
But
think
hey,
that
that's
it's
just my
possible?
experience,
You don't think it's
huh?
possible that you didn't create a proper spire? Because I think you can't just wrap the wire. I think you're supposed to create an actual spire with it. You're supposed to have a part where a coil where you're creating a coil. You
Yeah,
can't have it just be
right.
and it, and it has to go in the ground a certain amount. I mean, some of them
But
even
you,
go as
yeah.
far as to say have it be going down because you're in the northern hemisphere and up if
The
you're in the
only
southern
benefit your plants get from that is the aeration of the soil around the plant because now you're just shoving shit down there and you're poking holes in there. So that's getting some air in there. And the roots like that. You could just go around with the stick and doing that too. Again, that's
well
just my experience.
now Ronan, you really
hey,
only have your own experience to you're just going to take everybody's testimony and say they're bullshit because my thing didn't work. I don't think you're that shallow. You're not that
I'm not.
shallow.
I'd see success. I'd see. I don't know. I know other people that have tried it too, and they're not giving me positive reports. They're reporting their gardens or experiences. Same thing mine are. Without
Okay.
that stuff, we're subject to the climate. Your garden needs water, sunlight, nutrients. The basics. Once you get that down, and that's where we're struggling. So that level, like I said, it is my experience. You're right. There's different spirals, and I was just kind of summing it up with wrapping copper wire around sticks.
one
You know,
might not work for another. That's
It's
just the
gauge.
law of
Yeah.
physics.
Hmm.
And so Chris said, I've been giving my grand seeds the last couple of years. I'm encouraging them to search for info, ask questions, etc. They seem to like it a lot. That is awesome.
so old wives too.
Brew, my puppy supply is starting to expire. Same. So I just went through it all and had to get rid of a good bit or make everybody eat it. Just cook it up as fast as I could. Good boys do not say anything.
Tom, why don't you get up here and talk to us, Tom?
That'd
He's
be
done
cool if
it.
Tom came
He
up.
says
Yeah, I
he says
know.
you did it wrong, Ronan. I knew you did.
I'd listen to
I
him.
told
I'd
you you
try
did
how
it
he'd tell
wrong,
me to.
Ronan.
I'm not. Yeah, I might have. I've been wrong. I'm not above, admitting that, regardless of what Pebble says. I tried Tom's way, but the way I tried it didn't work. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Who
Plants.
knows? I have never done it actually. I do have some copper that I gathered from the shop last summer and I brought it down to my shed and I was going to put it out there in the garden and believe it or not I was so lazy I never even wrapped the stick. At least you did that much, Ronan. So even though I'm out here
Yeah,
talking about it, like I bet you it works. I mean, people do experience copper is a grounding thing. They ground all buildings with it. They do use it. And the earth is a magnetic core. So, there's definitely biology to it too. You've got to
so
contend with
Jenny said
science.
there has been 3 illegals in my area arrested for strangulation, attempted murder charges. They have their own white short buses they use for transportation. Sad. And we know what she's talking about with the white short buses.
I think those are ice. muscles.
Totally depends on the direction you wind the wire around the stick. Yes, I'm afraid we haven't seen nothing yet. I just worry about all the disease that spreads because of them going to the bathroom everywhere, like hepatitis in San Francisco. Think back to London, when it was running through the streets. Yeah. Sorry, I had to get y'all out of that moment.
Well, I gotta go, you guys, but it was fun hanging out with you. Thanks for having me. I gotta get
It was
out.
good talking with you.
It was fun talking with you, Ronan. Always a good time.
It was
Love
good
you
to
in
see you,
chat.
Dee.
Bye, everybody.
Been a
It was
while.
good to see you. Bye.
Take care, hon. Did she get mad at me? 15 to 1 apartment. Yep, I'm seeing that also, Jeannie. Mobile homes. They seem to like those, and there's a whole lot of them. Who is that sniper? Well, guys, it's been like about 3 hours. I think we covered everything that I wanted to cover. How about you, Ronan?
Yep.
Yep.
I could talk more, but I'll save it for another night. Keep wanting more. It's number one rule in show business. Keep wanting more. So in the next episode, I got some really hot, juicy stuff I'm saving, but it's not. I'm gonna save it for next time, though. Okay.
Oh, cool. Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Hot, juicy stuff from Ronan next time.
Big news. Big breaking news all over the. Yep. So,
Mama
stay
Tia,
tuned.
you and Stephanie and all of y'all. There's so many names that I've been trying to contact. There's people missing, and so I've told y'all mean a lot to me, and I do get concerned when I don't see the names anywhere. And so maybe that's a thing, is like get a family member that can come in and let people know if you're in the hospital or things aren't going so great or that something has happened. It would be much appreciated. So I'm going to let y'all go. Thank you for joining us tonight. Y'all all be safe. We got this. Love y'all. God bless you. Good night.